Hey guys, Brian from Boas here. As I discussed in a recent video, Colombian boas are the best pet boa for many people, bar none. And I've been getting a lot of feedback on that video, a lot of people asking me more about Colombian boas, since there's not just one type of Colombian boa and there's actually several different types. So that's what I'm going to cover today. I'm going to go more into detail about the different types of Colombian boas and what might be the best pet for you. And so first off, I'd like to say that they're all really great pets, but the one that you want to buy might depend on your situation. And when you go to a car dealer to buy a new car, it's a similar situation where you could buy the economy car that's going to be basic transportation at the lowest price. You could buy kind of a mid-level car that's going to have more features and maybe a little bit more suited to your lifestyle. Or you can buy the high-end luxury car, pay the most money, but have the most luxurious drive. And even though the costs are different, all three choices are going to get you to your final destination. One is not necessarily better than the other. It just depends on your situation. And it's similar with the boas. I'm going to show you guys three different types of boas, all originating from Colombia at three different price points. And hopefully this will help you inform your decision. So the first is the least expensive, and this is just known as a normal Colombian type boa. Not quite sure where the term normal came from, but pretty much any boa or other reptile that is not expressing a morph, it's just a wild type form, is known as a normal. And so this is a normal Colombian type boa. It's largely Colombian. It's not necessarily pure Colombian, but it's probably at least 90 to 95% Colombian. It's really impossible to say with these animals, but they, for all intents and purposes, look and act just like Colombian boas, since they're largely Colombian in origin. And the personality, behavior, and even the looks are very similar to the other types of Colombian boas at a much lower price. So I've got a couple of these left at $150 each from my litter last year. And to put in context, my first boa that I bought back in the early 90s when I was still a teenager was a normal Colombian type boa like this one. Same price, $150. So it's kind of crazy to think that you can still get this boa at the same price. Back the same year I bought the boa, a gallon of gas was about $1. Even here in California, under $1 in many areas of the country. A new car started at like $6,000 to $7,000, and you could get a nice meal at McDonald's, even supersized, for about $3 for Big Mac, Coke, and big fries. So obviously you can't do that anymore with those examples, but you can still buy a great boa for $150. And this one is actually het for VPIT positive, which didn't even exist back when I got my first boa. So there's this added bonus, but it will make a really great pet. It will look and act like any other Colombian boa. The other types are really no better than this one when it comes to having a great pet that you can really enjoy. And so these normal type boas are often produced as a byproduct of a morph breeding. You know, when you breed morphs together, sometimes you get animals with several genes, sometimes you get animals that aren't expressing a gene, and they're just called normals. But they're, as I mentioned, they're really great pets. Great boa for someone that wants a really nice pet, is on a budget, and wants the great boa experience. So normal boas are great to get. Like I said, I've only got a couple left. Most of mine have sold. The people that have bought these have really enjoyed them based on the feedback I've been getting. So great animal for somebody that's looking to start out on a budget. Normal Colombian type boa. And a little bit more about the origin. As I mentioned, they're not necessarily 100% Colombian. We really can't tell because there's no pedigree on these. It's possible that there is a small amount of other ancestry, including Central American, Panamanian, etc., since some of the morphs did originate in those animals, you know, an animal of that origin. I just can't tell because I don't have the history going back to the founder on this animal, and almost no morph projects do. It's just not something that they kept track of, and it's not really even all that important. But based on the looks and the way that it acts, it's largely, if not 100% pure Colombian. So great way to get a Colombian boa at a discount or low price is one of these nice normal Colombian boas. Next type of Colombian boa to consider for a pet is this Coups Pastel Colombian boa, and this would be analogous to the mid-level car. These animals, I had a litter born just a few weeks ago, and they'll be priced at $400 each when they're ready to go in about a month and a half. This is actually a 3-year-old holdback. You can see that this animal, other than it's bigger obviously since it's older, superficially looks very similar to the animal I just showed you, the baby or 1-year-old animal. And with the one exception being its color, you can see it's got this intense orange pastel coloration. And this is a selectively bred bloodline of pure Colombian boa known as the Coups Pastel. And this was started by someone in Europe who bred selectively all of the Colombian boas in his litters. It had this nice orange color. Vin Russo continued the project, and I got my breeders. They were produced by Vin Russo, and this is an animal from my first litter back in 2022. And I just love the coloration on these animals. Just beautiful, breathtaking orange color. And they're really chill, very enjoyable to handle like any Colombian boa. They just have this beautiful coloration. And as I mentioned, they're known to be a pure Colombian boa. So there's the specific locality information. Although they're not specific to any particular site in Colombia, they're just known to be pure Colombian. And if you like the looks of these animals, they're a great boa to get. I enjoy breeding them. A lot of people will acquire these in other pastel lines because they want to cross it into a morph project and improve the color of the morph project. Personally, I'd rather keep this pure, just breed it as a line bred, pure Colombian, pure bloodline, the Coups Pastel, and so that's what I'm intending to do with these animals. And as I mentioned, I had a really nice litter a few weeks ago, and they'll be ready to go in about a month and a half. But great looking animal if you want something that's a little more expensive than the normal, but just has this beautiful look. These Coups Pastel boas might be for you. Finally, we get to the most expensive high-end option for Colombian boas. This is a Brankia, Colombia, locality-specific boa from the Rio Bravo bloodline. So it's both locality-specific and from a known bloodline. And this is actually my female adult who gave birth a few weeks ago. She's recovering nicely, still a little bit skinny from the litter, of course, but she's eaten several meals and starting to put the weight back on. Of course, she's not going to breed again until 2 years in, 2027 at the earliest. But the Brankia Colombia boa is a specific locality boa from the city of Brankia in northern Colombia. And it's also a bloodline that was founded by Gus Renfro of Rio Bravo bloodline, Rio Bravo reptiles, hence the Rio Bravo bloodline. And these are probably my favorite boa of them all, locality or morph. And I have a trio that I got from my buddy Michael Beach in Portland, Oregon, and grew them up for 5 years. These are 2019 animals or 2020 animals, and had my first litter this year. So really happy with the litter. The babies are doing great. Really excited about the babies. They're all feeding really well. They fed the first time on live. The second time they all fed on thawed frozen. So they're all going to be ready to go pretty soon. And I've been getting a lot of interest in this litter. And so these guys, I would imagine they're going to be for sale in the next few weeks. They're priced at $600 a piece. And don't wait if you want some, because they're probably going to go fast based on the interest. But if you want a really nice locality specific Colombian boa, the Brankia I can't recommend higher. And just a beautiful looking animal, great to handle, great to work with. Just love these animals. Although I have to say that in terms of behavior and pet qualities, all 3 types of Colombians I've shown you pretty much act about the same, and they're going to get to about the same size. They look about the same. So it's up to you to determine which one that you want and what makes the most sense for you. I would also say that probably most people that aren't into snakes probably can't tell the difference apart. They just see it as a boa. But then they probably couldn't tell the difference between a boa imperator and a boa constrictor. So That's just how some people are. But if you can appreciate the differences between these types, hopefully you can make your decision based on that. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. If you're contemplating acquiring a Colombian boa, let me know if you have any questions or comments. Please, you can write them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your boas.